So today, Stonewall, the Stonewall National Monument, the birthplace of the gay rights movement, not only in the city, but nationwide. This is the images. You've all seen it down in the West Village. Today, sort of quietly at first, but now it's getting a lot of attention. The gay rights rainbow flag was taken down at the directive of the White House under new rules that were issued over the past year. You can see the Stonewall National Monument that became a National Historic Location in 2016 and has been a subject of much contention with the Trump administration in both of his terms in office. We're joined now by Brandon Wolf. He is the National Press Secretary for the Human Rights Coalition. Brandon, thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So walk us through what happened today and how word spread of what had happened.
Yeah, we got word early this morning, late last night, that the flag had been taken down. And I'll just say the Human Rights Campaign leadership and staff were on the ground at Stonewall just Friday, taking pictures on a tour to lift up some of the great work that they're doing on our own channel. So it was surprising, not just to us here on the team at HRC, but for the community to see this, this monument to our community, to the things that we've accomplished together, taken down, as you said, kind of quietly. It seemed like they were trying to do it maybe under the cover of nightfall. But of course, New York City is a big city. People walk by Stonewall all the time. And it became very clear what happened, in a short amount of time. And then you saw people begin to rally. You saw the community come out tonight. That was put together, I think, in the last maybe 6 hours. So I think that speaks to the power of the community to continue to organize under these circumstances.
Right. So you're reading an article about it now. In response to questions about the flag's removal, the National Park Service today pointed to a memo saying in a statement that only the U.S. flag and other congressionally or departmentally authorized flags are flown on National Park Service managed flagpoles with limited exceptions. So essentially, they say only the American flag, or I think like the POW, MIA flag, can be flown, and that's why this took place. What's your reaction to this? Is this simply following new protocols, or is there something bigger going on here with this move?
Yeah, I'll say that explanation doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because if you look at their exception policy, it says that flags that bear some sort of significant, historical significance in our country meet the definition of a flag that could be accepted. And I don't know what Stonewall is, if not significant historically for this country. I think what's happening here is that the administration is obsessed. They are obsessed with people who don't look like them, who don't live like them. They're obsessed with LGBTQ people, with trans people specifically, with immigrants, with Black and brown people. And they're also dealing with an incredibly unpopular agenda that has thrust this country into chaos. And so they've leaned into this obsession with trying to suffocate the joy and pride that Americans have in their communities. It's been over a year that they've been on a witch hunt. They've targeted rainbow crosswalks, pride flags, Black Lives Matter murals. They've thrown a tantrum about a Super Bowl performance they couldn't control. I think it's pretty clear that they want to use us as a distraction and bully our community into submission. But the bad news, I think, for this administration is that we're not going anywhere. I mean, you saw that in the community response tonight. Even when the federal government tried to lock people out of the park, the community flags are still flying as high as ever. The community is not any less queer today than it was yesterday. So I would just say, regardless of their obsession with this community, we're going to keep showing up for each other. We're going to keep showing up at Stonewall. We're going to keep being out and proud. And there's not really anything the White House can do about that.
Walk us through the history of this. So it was, I think this became a official National Historic Registered location at the end of President Obama's second term. And then my recollection was the rainbow flag went up in 2019. And my recollection was that there was a bit of a controversy because no one from the Trump administration would either show up or was not part of the ceremony. There was something along those lines. Can you refresh me on the backstory on that part of the story?
Yeah, I think you have the details there, right? And, I think what is important to say about that is, even though there was consternation about the Trump administration not showing its respect to Stonewall at the raising of the flag still went up. And yet now we have this manufactured controversy in Trump 2.0. And I think it's also important that we go back further in the history of Stonewall and remember the lessons that it taught us about our current moment. It was in 1969 that after relentless police harassment and violence against LGBTQ plus people, the community stood up and fought back. That community refused to be bullied by people who were empowered, people who felt threatened by our very existence. And they did it at a time where it was not politically popular, where it took an immense amount of personal toll to go into the streets and push back. I think that can teach us a lot about what we have to do in this moment. If they could stare down tired, old bigotry that was on display, we can certainly do the same thing today.
All right, Brandon Wolf, we do appreciate you joining us. Both the mayor of New York City and Senator Schumer, among others, have spoken out strongly against this. It does seem like this sort of came out of nowhere in a lot of ways. A lot of people just finding out about this today, but we do appreciate you. Brandon Wolf, National Press Secretary for the Human Rights Campaign. We appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thank you.